Two obvious parallels to the work of William Blake and Gus Van Sant's film Last Days. The first, most obvious one is that the protagonist's name is Blake. And like Blake, he is an artist, in this case, a musical artist, indeed, a musical artist who might be and probably is Kurt Cobain. Now, the other obvious Blakean parallel occurs at the very end of the film after Blake has committed suicide, when we see his spirit emerge from his body and climb out of the greenhouse. This is very close to an image that we can look at that William Blake himself drew of a soul exiting a body at death. Now, there's a less obvious and I think more fertile parallel with the work of William Blake in Last Days. And this is the soundscape work of the German composer Hildegard Westerkamp. Throughout the film, you will hear odd sounds that are not coming from the film world. Diegetic sounds in a film are sounds that actually take place within the world of a film. So if you have a character in a house and the phone rings, and the character goes and picks up the phone, that's diegetic sound. The phone rings in the world of the film. And there are a lot of such sounds in the ramshackle mansion in which Blake and his various moochers and hangers-on live. He seems constantly to be interrupted by sounds of the TV, sounds of the doorbell, sounds of the phone ringing, sounds that are annoying, that take him away from the sound that he should be making, which is his music. Well, there are certain moments in the film where you hear maybe a grandfather clock while Blake is outside and there can be no grandfather clock. Or maybe you hear dripping water, again in an environment where there would be no dripping water. Or maybe you hear the sound of a train or the sound of cars on a road. Well, these sounds are created by Hildegard Westerkamp in a soundscape work known as The Doors of Perception. Of course, this recalls the famous line in William Blake's The Mirrors of Heaven and Hell, in which he says, when the doors of perception are cleansed, the world will appear as it is, infinite. The way this soundscape works in the film is that it creates a lovely, rich sound environment that no one can hear. All the characters in the film are trapped in this world of abrasive sounds, annoying sounds, distracting sounds. Communication is almost impossible between people. But outside of this world, outside of this world of decay and addiction and manipulation, is this sound world, this beautiful sound world. And it's interesting to note that the only time a character acknowledges this sound world is near the end, when Blake is walking to the greenhouse for what we know will be his last hours of life. We hear the sounds by Westerkamp, and the Blake character turns and looks back and upward as if in the direction of the sound, suggesting that for the first time in the film, he has broken through the world of mundane, destructive sound to this realm of transcendent, creative sound. And this suggests that possibly Blake, before his death, has an epiphany of a resplendent world beyond the melancholy world in which he lives. So, as is the case with William Blake in much of his later prophetic work, there's the world of the mundane shell, which is the dome in which we imagine ourselves on the earth looking up at the dome sky. This is the world of time and space, the world in which we are fallen, constrained, oppressed, repressed. And beyond the mundane shell is the world of eternity, a realm where one is not troubled by time nor space. And I think that Gus Van Sant creates this dichotomy in Last Days through the use of Westerkamp's The Doors of Perception. And indeed, we can imagine that Blake's doors of perception are cleansed, at least for that one moment, when he does hear these more supernatural, lovely sounds. Of course, the question becomes, given this vision, does this vision make him want to kill himself because he wants to get out of this world that's so painful for him? Or does he have the vision and it has no effect on him? He still remains in despair and kills himself out of despair. We don't know. That's one of the primary ambiguities of the film.